Hi, everyone. With Blended Together Forever, I'm very excited to introduce you a returning friend, Rachel Dunn, and her husband, Seth. This is going to be a very special podcast recording. I'm going to ask them some questions here in a second, and they've got a great personal story, but they're not only growing in their own personal relationship, they're actually trying to help other blended families. And so this is going to be powerful for not only content for you, but to help spread the word to other people that might be struggling, dealing with certain issues. And I know you'll be filled with hope and encouragement. So, Seth, Rachel, great to see you, and thank you for doing this again.
Thanks for
Thanks,
having
Craig.
us, Craig. We're
I guess
excited.
just for starters, tell everybody about how y'all met, your current blended family, who had a kid, didn't, or whatever, just so they'll know kind of your background and how you got here, first of all.
Okay, so you just need me, so I'll start with this one. I guess Seth had been single he was a single dad for
Year and a
like a
half
year
or
and a
so,
half.
two
Yeah.
years.
And I was engaged to a really good guy. Things just we were not meant to be, and we ended up breaking off the wedding, and we were sitting at a friend's wedding, and my sister took my husband's phone and texted Seth and pretended that she was Reed, was pretending she was my brother-in-law, and texted Seth and said, "You want to go on a blind date with my sister-in-law?" And he was like, "Wait, I thought she was like getting married or she was in a serious relationship." He's like, "No, man, it's over." And then he ended up saying, "Okay, well, I don't want to get in any drama if she's still, talking to that other guy." But we ended up going out. Thought at
Well, let me
first,
let me preface, Craig. I took her down in Fairhope. We have a spot called the Steak Cook-Off, a
Okay.
big event in the town. Everybody sets up and they have a competition for who cooks the best steak. Well, seeing that it's a kind of an open scene, great environment for a blind date, the realization is that I met a girl that I never knew. We didn't eat an ounce of steak.
nope.
We actually ate at another place downtown, but we had a really good time getting to know each other, and it was really kind of a breath of fresh air because I went in with zero expectation, no idea. Wasn't keen on blind dates. I usually like to know what I'm getting into. I'm the control guy, so I have to be in control, but I just kind of went with it, knowing that my brother-in law and I were friends from college. And so that's how we kind of put
Okay.
it all together. So,
My sister had been actually talking about him even when I was still dating another guy. She's like, "I met this guy. He looks like he belongs in our family." She's like, "You sure you want to marry this other guy?" I'm like,
Wow.
"Yeah." I was just like, "Don't say that." But I really thought, I can't, like, I was 20, how old was I? 20,
27.
27. And I'm like, this guy's like handsome. And yeah, he does look a lot like our family. And I know he's a good guy, but I'm sorry. I'm too young to be dating a guy with a kid and an ex-wife. Like, that was like, nah.
Wow.
Like, so I went into it thinking, you know what? This is a guy to have fun with. And like, this is a good thing to like distract me, but I'm
Right.
not going to, like, I would never marry somebody. Like, I just thought I wasn't that desperate at that time. That was the thought
So
in my
you
head.
single, you'd never been
Yes.
married. Here's
No.
Seth, and he has a child, and then y'all are meeting and going out on a date, right?
Yeah, and he was 5 years older. He's 5 years older than me too. So it was kind of
Okay.
a whole new dynamic for me.
Okay. Of course it would be. So then as things progressed, you guys obviously got married, and then, tell us how that went and what were the any unique challenges with that? What were maybe some of the blessings that came along with that? But let us hear both sides of that once you guys decided to get married.
I knew I wanted to marry her. I mean, I told myself post divorce that I would never do this again.
Okay.
Now I meet Rachel and I just knew. I, I, I didn't even challenge it with
Was
her. She
freaking
would,
out.
she would push back and Craig, I made up my mind and I told her I'm going to marry you. And whether you like it or not, we're going to get married.
And I was like, no.
Um,
Wow.
And
Wow.
so I was very, I think, set in my ways on what I wanted and not knowing, you know, yes, we got married, and then came a whole new set of difficulty and struggle. It was uncharted territory for both of us, really.
Yeah.
We're newlyweds. We're trying to figure each other out,
Mhm.
but we also have external pressure, which was there to try to separate us. So, and then you couple that with me being naive and uh, essentially a weak leader of the family. I was moving in a direction that initially didn't protect my family.
Okay. Now, what
And
do you mean when
so
you say initially a weak leader? I hear you, but what exactly does that mean for people?
prioritizing the hierarchy of my family.
Okay. Gotcha.
My wife comes first, period.
Gotcha.
So I didn't do that.
Well, it's in it, Craig, it's not that I don't want you to be too hard on yourself because he was dealing with a lot of guilt about what was going on. You know, we were in the middle of a custody battle, and I was also in the shock factor of like, oh, I'm really in this now. I'm really committed. Like I'm married to a man and there's a kid in our house full time and I don't get a break. And this is I don't know if I signed up for this. So I'm kind of going through this whole, oh my gosh, this is really hard. And he takes that as I'm failing her. Like this, she's not happy. I just wanted to give her the world and now she's miserable. And that just caused him, you know, I'm more of an it's funny, we kind of flip flopped. He was kind of more anxiously attached. I was more avoidant attached until we got married. And then all this came up, and I kind of got more anxiously attached, and he got avoidant real quick. And he just shut down and went into protect mode.
Right.
And he went protective over him and also his daughter. And I was just kind of left to fend for myself in this craziness that was going on that I just didn't even know was real. Like I didn't even know this people, you know, really lived like this.
Yeah, that must have been hard to be all of a sudden you're in the middle of a custody battle and it's your daughter. I can imagine the angst that goes on. So, um, from that point to today, how are things with your daughter? How are things with the ex? How are is it still? You give some kind of a update.
I think that, we're in a new season.
Okay.
Um, my daughter turned 16, which comes with a lot of freedom, a lot of relief. I'm not driving to meet at a scheduled pickup spot. So there's a lot of benefit that comes from that.
Yeah.
Daughter's doing very well. Um,
Great.
I gotta say that the position with my ex has been just quiet lately. Nothing that there's no, what I would say is there's really no outward strife
No.
that we're contending with, but the season is quiet for now.
That's a good thing, and I'm so glad you used those words because as we've talked to many people, Gina and I, that have had an ex-spouse, I'll just tell you our own story. Her ex was extremely difficult to work with. My ex was just kind of not there. It was like she went on her merry way, I went on my merry way. But when you hear peace, it's the best thing because you're both you and your ex are always going to be the mom and dad for your daughter. But if there's a way to just, be cooperative, almost like colleagues, that it's still, you both want the best for your child, but there's peace, there's not angst and high emotion and drama. That's great to hear. Um, I know your faith is extremely important to you guys, as it is me. And though our ministry is really Christ centered, there's going to be people here that maybe just from a common sense perspective that may have never addressed accepting Jesus into their life, but they just want to know how they can go forward in their blended family. Seth, you had something happen that I think it was a men's retreat that really helped kind of change. I don't know if it was, I don't know all the details at all, but talk to us about how that helped y'all's marriage, how that helped y'all's blending. I'd love to hear that piece of the story as well.
Sure. I had the opportunity to attend a retreat for a week in Dallas.
Okay.
Uh, had a lot of questions about as we approach signing up. There, for me, there's an initial cost to go to this retreat. I know nothing much about it. I had a great friend that's within 25 minutes of where we live, and he called one day and said, I'm really thinking about doing this retreat. What do you think? And he sends me this video, this snapshot about what they do. And well, the initial reaction was like, no, I don't want to do that. Doesn't sound fun at all. And so he said, well, just think about it because I'm really thinking about going. And it was probably about a month later,
You asked
Rachel,
me about it.
unbeknownst to Rachel, that I had this conversation with a close friend. Rachel says, hey, have you ever heard of this? I really think you need to look into it. And it was the same retreat.
Wow.
So for me, um, God has spoken
Yeah.
in that manner to me several times, and I have listened in those times, and it's worked out well. So when she brings it up, I listen to her when she says, "Hey, I really think you need to do this." So I call my friend, we sign up, not knowing what to expect. We go to
He has more of a business.
it was geared towards scaling of business and how to grow the business. It was in this particular one was designed for CEOs and presidents for that are running companies. And little did I know that it was fast track therapy in a very intense way that it would what I realized it broke me down physically, spiritually, emotionally. It was more geared towards
Emotional growth, really.
it was emotional growth. It was getting to my core. Yes, the business piece was a part of it, but the main piece was, hey, let's figure you out. And
Yeah.
Craig, I stumbled for a lot of time knowing that something was missing and I couldn't figure it out. I lived my life the same way for at this time for 40, well, I was 43 when I went.
Okay.
And what it really summed up for me being in this retreat with 50 guys now, 50 guys completely disconnected from the world when you're in Dallas. No phones, no emails, no distractions. And it's intense. And what I had realized was that I had perfected for 43 years, I perfected on how to live like a 6-year-old.
Whoa. Wow. What
And
a,
that's the hard part. When you get hit in the face with a mirror and you really dive into the responsibility of your own self, I have mastered that. I wasn't a man. I wasn't leading like I should. I wasn't making the decisions that I should. I wasn't being outwardly spoken. I wasn't loving my wife how she should be loved. But it took going to this, disconnecting from everybody and everything to realize that, hey, I've got responsibility in this.
yeah.
And so it was very good for me to go through that program for me personally. And I don't mind sharing, it's called Rise Up Kings. Skylar Lewis heads it up. It's a very well designed program for men and women. They do a women's side as well. And so I encourage those that may lack clarity or may lack direction,
Right.
look into it. And the hard part when you sign up for something like this, we all know that the devil shows up at the last minute.
Sure.
There was
Stan,
a storm coming, a blizzard coming
Oh,
to
goodness.
Fairhope. I think Craig, you and I had talked that week,
Yeah.
right? Because Seth was coming headed towards Dallas, and I was hoping y'all could meet. But I mean, it was insane that he's leaving the day before a blizzard comes, and I was kind of upset about it because I'm like, this is a core memory he's gonna miss here. Like, but like the way that it was such divine timing, it was like God's like, just wait, like this snow, this isn't nothing compared to what I'm about to do.
Yeah. I want to I want to make one comment to Seth and to the men that maybe watch this. Then I want to go to obviously you, Rachel, from a women's perspective. I'm so grateful that you shared that because you're a real man. And let me tell you the reason I say that. It's a fact. I can give you logic, I can give you statistics that when a man comes to know the Lord first, there's like a 93% chance that the family will follow. And when the woman comes to the Lord first, that goes so far down to about 17%. And it just means that men don't recognize their wounds, they don't acknowledge them, and that's why they rarely heal from them. What you just shared was we're all wounded, we're all messed up, we all got baggage, and just stuffing it for whatever 10, 15, 20, 30 years or longer
43.
or 40. Okay. But but hearing what happened to you, that's what men want. They want transformation, and that's huge. I'm grateful you said that and shared that. Now, Rachel, you've been reaching, you've been reaching women. You've been, in fact, you're getting a PhD. You're helping stepmoms. You've already addressed. Tell people what you're doing in this arena, how they can find you, and more help on that because this is huge and it's so needed. And I appreciate you sharing that. So take it away.
Okay. Well, I am in a different season right now. Just as you mentioned, in a PhD program, I've really scaled back on seeing clients. I'm also a therapist. I have a private practice in my office right now that needs to be finished. But I still have Instagram. I'm not super regular with posting on there. I don't think I've posted anything probably 6 months, but I have been speaking like at some stepmom seminars, and I'll be on one coming up in April. And I've still I still have coaching options for anybody who wants to do it, but right now I'm just in a really exciting season of learning and like honestly preparing to make real social change for step families and stepmoms, and getting some research done on just mental health issues for what stepmoms go through with mental health. And I'm in a season of I feel like I'm in a seed in the ground right now. I'm kind of starting over, where I feel like God is kind of like pulling me out of the personal, um, like with social media. Like I'm trying to get away from social media influence. Like I want to have make real social change for step families. That's what I'm working on. I've got a lot of research stuff that I'm working on. Trying to get mental health training programs to recognize step families as a diverse family structure. Get it into the training programs that we're in because we don't learn about that in school. So I know I'm kind of going in a more professional direction rather than having my personal story out there, if that makes any sense. I know I've shared a lot of personal things, but I really feel like God is calling me to make that transition with my platform to a more professional role. Love coaching stepmoms. I have some spots open. I'm always open to that. I have a website, racheldunnecoaching.com. I have counseling available for stepmoms in Alabama. I love doing that. I'll always have a passion for that, but I am knee deep in research and PhD work right now. And I'm super excited about, I don't know. I know it's where God wants me to be right now. And I love it. I'm nerding out hardcore and I'm loving every second of it. So
That is so good. Thank you for sharing that. Time's gonna get away from us. So one last thing, just look into the camera and share from your heart any last second thought that the Lord might have put on your heart that you could reach the people that might be watching this from anything that you think could encourage them.
I think the marriage, if there's one thing I'm learning in my work right now, it is how important the couple is to the health of a step family and to the success of a step family. And step families need God. Step couples need God. And we are proof that when God is in the center of a marriage, that anything is possible. And he loves to do the impossible. And he can do more in a week than most people could do in a lifetime without God. And I just think for anybody who feels like their marriage is too far gone or they can't see themselves ever feeling safe or validated in their marriage, especially for stepmoms, I'm here to tell you that I used to feel that way. And I think we're the best we have ever been. And it's been the hard times, the suffering we've gone through that have matured us and grown us, and listening to the prompting of God's voice when we need to go make a change and seek support, which don't be afraid to do that. We need wise counsel. The Bible instructs us to do that. And I think, just know you're not alone in your struggles. What about you? What do you think?
I mean, I agree with everything that Rachel said. I think if I can speak to the men piece, is that number one, we're designed for hard loads, heavy loads. We're like an 18-wheeler. The more load you put on us, the better we pull.
That's good.
I think that we have to put 10 toes in the sand and take control where we possibly have lost a little bit of control, but we have to accept that. We have to accept that reality. But if we want change, we have to go for it. And lead how scripture tells us to lead. But God is a redeemer.
Yeah, that's great. That's a perfect way to finish. God is a redeemer. Guys, thank you so much. Stay on for just a second. Guys, uh, pray that you're blessed by listening to their story. So grateful that you guys shared with our audience, and may it multiply your message out. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.